and welcome back to the channel. It is a very cold, wet, windy day outside. The water in the marina has actually risen quite a bit. It's reached the bottom of the jetties, which normally there's a good almost a foot, I would say, of space between the bottom of the jetties and the water. Not anymore. In fact, while I was preparing to film this video, I had to pop outside in the pouring rain to loosen our ropes because our boat was starting to tilt quite alarmingly as the ropes got tighter and tighter. There's some reports of flooding around as well, so our coal delivery has been delayed just because of all the flooding. So while we are waiting for that coal to arrive, Pixel and I are going to do a quick video about a little bit more of the behind the scenes story of how Narrowboat Chef got started and how we got to this point where we're taking it in a new direction. Ryan's at work, so he won't be joining us. That's probably the coal guy. Hey sweetie. Love you. I say he's not going to be part of the video, and he calls. Obviously, he wants to be part of the video. Alrighty, up you go. There you go. Someone is trying to move their boat in this weather. So as I was saying before I was rudely interrupted by Ryan, I wanted to just tell a little bit more of the behind the scenes story, sort of where Narrowboat Chef came from and up until this point where we've decided to take the channel in a new direction. If you're one of our long-time followers, you might find this quite interesting because it's more the behind the scenes kind of story that you've seen, I guess, the front end of in our videos. First, why did we start the YouTube channel? The main reason was to let our families back in Australia know what we were up to, and so they could keep up to date with our adventures and see where we were going in sort of the UK. Obviously there is nothing like narrowboats in Australia. We don't have canals, so it is something that's quite unique, and we don't have it in Australia, so it was a way to share what we were doing with them. But we also wanted to experiment with starting a YouTube channel and see if we could make money with a YouTube channel, because we were moving from traditional jobs working in hospitality, moving full-time living on a narrowboat, so we'd need some sort of income stream beyond just my web design stuff. Next up, how did we grow our channel? So we actually reached 1,000 subscribers within 4 months of uploading our first video to the channel, and around the same time we reached the YouTube ad revenue requirements to monetize our videos. So within 4 months, that was pretty quick. We were pretty surprised at how quickly it did grow, and there's a few things that I think contributed to that growth. Firstly, we were very conscious of always being positive, always showing the you got a bit of an itch. Firstly, we were always very conscious of being positive on camera. We didn't want to drag the vibe of the videos down. We never like faked it, but we always tried to show the positive sides of things, even if we were in a sticky situation where somebody breaks the boat, not mentioning any names.
So Maggie broke the boat.
It's not my fault. I just happened to be driving when it happened.
You broke it. Oh! There we go.
So that's the culprit. That is a pretty massive, pretty hefty chunk of wood.
We always try to look at the bright side of it and think of it as an adventure. So I think that helped, being quite positive and always looking at the brighter side of things. People seem to quite resonate with that. Obviously, Pixel. She's the star of the show, so without her we certainly wouldn't have grown as far, would we, Pixel? Secondly, we had a point of difference. So rather than just being another narrowboat vlog where we just cruise around, we had the chef side of things, where we were cooking and we were creating recipes and sharing tips and tricks in the kitchen. And although we didn't necessarily plan it exactly to be that way, it felt like a good cross combination of those two niches, and it really worked in our favour. It worked out quite well for us, and we're pleased that that's the way we went with the channel. Third, doing 2 videos per week, a cruising adventure video lifestyle vlog and a cooking video per week. That definitely, I think, helped us grow as fast as we did, because there was always like new content going onto our channel, and so YouTube likes regular new content and tries to show that to viewers and subscribers quite a bit more than a channel that doesn't post as often. So I think that definitely helped, but it's not sustainable, especially when you're moving around every other day and working on top of it, and then you've got to try and edit. So I wouldn't recommend it unless you've got somebody to help you out, an editor or somebody in the background to give you a hand with it. Last thing that I think possibly helped us grow was I would say, yeah, intentionally we went to the bigger narrowboat vloggers who were around at the time, so Cruising the Cart and the Narrowboat Experience ladies. We definitely went and commented on their videos, so they got to know us, and obviously anybody in their audiences who saw our comments would have seen us as Narrowboat Chef, and if they're interested in narrowboats, which if they're following Cruising the Cart and Narrowboat Experience, likely they were interested in narrowboats, would potentially come across and check us out as well. After creating videos quite consistently for sort of 1 to 2 years, we then wanted to move into creating more value for our audience, and so we moved into creating cookbooks. Our first cookbook was the 2020 Lockdown Legacy Cookbook, which I'm sure quite a few of you probably remember, and that took a heck of a lot of willpower and encouragement from friends and family to sit down and pull that together and just sort of get it done and get it out there. It took a lot of work. We had to like cook the recipes to make sure that what we said in the cookbook actually translated and the recipe worked as intended, and take pictures for the cookbook as well. So it did take a fair bit of work to pull together. We decided to make it digital only, mainly because this made the logistics of the project much easier, because we could just upload it to our website, and then as soon as somebody bought it, we'd just send them an email with a download link and they could download it to their own device. And the other side of that was production costs. If it's a digital product, we don't have to pay for the printing of a physical cookbook, and then we're going to send it out to people, and all that that side of things is a lot more complex. And so we thought, let's just keep it simple, make it a digital only product. And we decided, after a bit of discussion, to price it rather strategically with a pay what you can model. So we set the lowest possible price at £1. So if you didn't have a lot of money, or you just didn't want to pay much, then you could pay £1 for the cookbook. But we also set a value on it, so we set it at £5, as this is what the value of the cookbook is, just to give buyers an idea of this is sort of how much we expect to get for this product. what the value of the product was. And because this is during lockdown, when people are getting furloughed and they're losing their jobs and they don't have a lot of money, and the cost of things was a little bit higher just because, you know, COVID, it was like almost a sympathetic way to price it as well, so that everybody sort of had the opportunity to access the cookbook. On average, we made about £7 per sale, so if averaging it all out, it was about £7 per cookbook, which was quite good. We were stoked with that. And in the first week that the book was released, which is when we got the bulk of the sales, we made £1,665. We were chuffed about that. For a little cookbook that we put together, it had like 22 recipes or something in it. And yeah, it was hard work, but it was very rewarding at the end of it, and helped us pay off some debt and helped us get through a time when cash flow was tighter because of all the lockdowns. So thanks to everybody who bought it. Our next cookbook was Narrowboat Chef's Winter Warmers collection, and we wanted to go further with this one, and we decided to go and create an actual proper physical cookbook. It was a very stressful, long few months pulling all the recipes together again, cooking them all and taking pictures of them all, because we wanted this to be a beautiful, high quality product, much more so than the digital lockdown legacy cookbook, so that people could have it in their kitchens or even on their coffee tables, because we also included pictures of gorgeous autumnal and wintry canal scenery. So it wasn't just a cookbook, it was an experience, if that's the right word. We did actually price that one higher than we originally had in mind. We wanted to price it at £20, but in the end, because we were so windy, because we were printing it through Amazon's print on demand service, we actually had to end up pricing it a little bit higher at £25, just because it was a full color, very photo heavy book, and so it costs a lot more to print something that's full color, lots of pictures and photos, than it would to just print, say, a novel which is black and white and it's just text mainly. So it did cost us a little bit more to print that book. So we were very proud of the result. It turned out so much better than we actually kind of imagined, and we are very proud of ourselves for sticking through the hard work and the stress of putting it together and getting it out there, and it is one of our proudest achievements. And for those of you interested in the money side of things, that the Winter Warmers cookbook didn't initially make us the same amount of profit, I suppose you'd call it, as the Lockdown Legacy digital book, but at this point in time, I would say the Winter Warmers physical cookbook has made more money than the digital Lockdown Legacy one, because we don't really get any more sales on the Lockdown Legacy, but we do still get the occasional sale from Amazon for the Winter Warmers cookbook. And that's probably because it's got the power of Amazon search behind it, so people just randomly stumble across it. And our final cookbook is the Tiller Treats cookbook. We created that one late last year, and that was the cookbook that we kind of did as a way to try and get the spark back for Narrowboat Chef, as a way to, because we included some of our boat tuber friends and got some of them involved and got really awesome recipes from them, and we were hoping that, like, being back in the community, being back chatting with our boat tuber friends, that it would like sort of reignite the desire to do Narrowboat Chef again. But ultimately we realized that the spark is gone, Narrowboat Chef content is not really something that we want to do anymore, and so that book in the end made us, I think, around £500, which compared to the other two was not a whole lot, but at the same time we didn't really promote it because we weren't really doing Narrowboat Chef content anymore, so it wasn't getting promoted as much as the other books got promoted. As was kind of alluded to in the last video where we sort of said that Narrowboat Chef is transitioning, I still believe in the power of video, and I think YouTube is an incredibly powerful platform. We built a lot of power in our YouTube channel because of the community that we built by sharing our adventures cruising around the canals and our free cooking videos that we put up with recipes to go with them. We built up a lot of trust and likability, and the reciprocity rule kind of kicks in at that point. So that's where if you provide a lot of value without expecting anything in return, people generally want to return the favor and pay you back in some way. So when we finally did decide to sell something, our community was happy to support us, and they wanted to pay to have more value that we could provide. And it was thanks to the channel that we just started, because why not, let's see what happens. The year that we released the first 2 cookbooks, Narrowboat Chef actually became a 5-figure business. Now that sounds amazing when I say it that way, and it is amazing, let's not lie about that, it is amazing. But we only just hit 5 figures. In that year we made £10,884. So just hit the 5 figures. And that was from various sources, but mainly the cookbooks, some from Patreon donations, and mainly the rest was from YouTube ad revenue. Still, 10k in 1 year from a vlog that, in all honesty, we weren't taking as seriously as we could have, is still pretty damn awesome. And you know, we were pleased about that when we kind of got to the end of the year and we're like, holy did we make £10,000? Looking back, there is a lot that we could have done with Narrowboat Chef to build it bigger and make it into like a proper business that could sustain us, but that wasn't the intention that we started the channel with. So the effort and work that would need to be put in to make that happen, we just weren't willing to do that at the time. But as well as our own success, I'm really impressed with what my mum has done with her YouTube channel for her business back in Australia. She received a $400,000 Australian dollars grant to create videos for the aged care niche, which is what the area that she works in, the industry she works in. And the only reason she got that, or a large part of the reason that she got it, is because her YouTube channel could prove that she knew how to create great videos that people love to watch. I just think that's amazing. And I just think that's so amazing, and it just kind of proves the power of YouTube, even when you don't have a big following, even if you don't post consistently, because mum wasn't at the time and she didn't have a big following at the time. And it is so powerful. It opens up so many opportunities. So that's a behind the scenes look at sort of the story behind Narrowboat Chef and how we've come on this journey, how far we've come, what we've achieved, and some of the figures behind it, because I know I find that sort of stuff fascinating, so hopefully you guys found it interesting as well. I hope it gives you a bit more context behind why we've decided to go the direction that we're going, and why I really want to help people use the power of YouTube. At this point in time, I've decided to focus mainly on coaches and experts, people who have a lot of knowledge that they want to share and who genuinely want to help others, but they might struggle with getting clients consistently, especially online. It's quite difficult through social media, and I believe that that's where YouTube can really shine and help those sorts of people especially grow their businesses. Alright, it is Yeah, it's still raining, just a little bit. It's eased up a bit, but I might have to go and check my ropes again. I think the boat might be slightly tilting. Coal delivery still hasn't arrived. Good thing we've got a little bit of coal there to keep us warm. Hey Pixar. I will see you in the next video. Bye!